fostering outreach within European regions, transnational higher education and mobility. The FORTHEM Alliance brings together a new generation of creative minds, able to cooperate across languages, borders, and disciplines to address the societal challenges and skills shortages Europe faces. Here is a true FORTHEM story from University of Latvia.
My name is Rudis. I guess I identify as a philosopher because I've been studying philosophy for like 5 years now. I finished my bachelor's and my master's just this summer. I think the field I chose is definitely something very unconventional, and it's something that a lot of people, when they hear about, their first question that pops into mind is, oh, what are you going to do in the future, or what's the use of this? But I feel like it's all based on like a specific understanding of how we understand education and higher education and the goal of it in general. I think it might be a cliche thing to say, but well, like the humanities and philosophy in particular, it's an education for life and an education that can be sort of adjusted to many different things that one might do in the future.
How did you find out about FORTHEM?
I think it was a very pure accident, I have to admit, because the way the message got to me about something like FORTHEM actually even existing was because of an automatic email sent to the University of Latvia sort of address. And normally it has a lot of sort of unnecessary things, but this one time I decided to look at it and it seemed like something very new and interesting because it was an undiscovered sort of like hidden gem.
Which FORTHEM short-term programs have you experienced so far?
My first FORTHEM exchange was last summer, and I went to the University of Jyväskylä in Finland, where I attended a course on visual communication that taught the basics of like the way visuality communicates things, and there was a lot of discussion, a lot of interpreting specific images, a lot of media analysis, and so on. And I think it helped in the case that it gave a very interdisciplinary overview of many things, which I also didn't have like any experience with, so it was a good small peek into this huge world of visuality, which I'm very much interested in because my main fields of interest in university are aesthetics and philosophy of art, so it adds up perfectly. And the more recent experience, I went to the University of Palermo, and it was a summer school which was titled Food Writing, but I would say a more accurate sort of title for it would be the semiotics of food and food spaces and so on. And I was very satisfied with the way this was done. It was perfectly matched with my academic background and philosophy and semiotics. It was a great collision, and I enjoyed it very much.
How complicated was the application process for a FORTHEM short-term mobility?
The information of how to apply was quite straightforward. Filled out a few forms and wrote a motivational letter, and after a few exchanges of emails and a really small bit of paperwork, it was all set and done, and I'm very happy that I've had this opportunity now to go twice to different universities and learn a lot of new interesting things.
Why should students apply for FORTHEM short-term programs?
The sort of things that you can gain from actually attending an event such as this are quite immense, and it highly depends on your interest, but there's always something that you can get out of it. If someone's interested academically, then it's a great way to learn new things. And on the cultural side of things, obviously, it's a week in a different country. It's a time frame where, well, obviously you can't say that you know a lot, but it's a time frame where there's definitely enough to leave an impression and make you understand more about who you yourself are.
Did the short-term program influence your foreign language skills?
Being in a foreign country for a week and being in an international environment obviously has its benefits in the sense that you actively talk in a foreign language, and that's a good thing to have, just to sort of refresh your skills. Even if one feels comfortable in another language, it's still good to have some practice. I've had the privilege to actually go to a full Erasmus experience for a semester previously, back when I did my bachelor studies, so I was already sort of accommodated with it, I guess, what it means to go to an international event or just an international context to study. And it seemed like a very nice follow-up, because I think I wasn't particularly ready to go for another like half a year or a year, but the 1 week format was very appealing. It seemed like a really good thing to do, and it was.
What is unique about FORTHEM?
I think the combination of the academic factors and the cultural factors were something that really influenced me a lot, because both of these things let you understand so much more about where you yourself are located. And it taught me a lot about myself. It taught me a lot about my university. By experiencing all these other places and other cultures and other universities, you get a better sense of understanding about where you're coming from and what your own background is, what can be improved over here, where we might be better, where we might be not as strong. I think the main sort of challenge or the takeaway from that is how to process this experience into action to actually try to make something better here.
Could you please tell us about how this experience contributed to your own personal growth?
I think these Fordham experiences taught me a lot about myself and where we're from. And I think that's sort of the main point of what I was trying to sort of get across. You would think that when you're going to an international setting, it's all about like broadening your horizons and learning new things. And that is true, but it's also so much about learning about yourself. Just confronting both academic backgrounds and traditions and confronting cultural backgrounds and traditions and just seeing the way that other people live, the way other people study. And that prompts one to ask, how should one study? How should one live? And I think, well, obviously, as a philosopher, you know, these are great questions to ask, and these are great questions to work around.
Opportunities are available for students and staff of all 9 universities. Visit forthem-alliance.eu, get involved, and experience FORTHEM for yourself.